Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to you all again for this another session of Rukmini, the Turning of Time and Dawn of an Era. Today is an important day because we have almost reached to the end of chap part one. So there are four parts in this book where each part has its own significance. Now we have reached to that end of first part, which has like 17 chapters. So we have been talking about Mata all through these 17 chapters. The first part I would like to reiterate saying that it is life in ancient Dwaraka, India. So Sujata's life, how it has progressed and how it was dealt all through her life during the time of ancient Dwaraka. We have seen everything about this, and for me, friends, I do not know the impact that this book is causing to you, but for me personally, all through this 17 chapters and part one, when I started iterating all these stories about Mata, every day is kind of an experience. Every week, like for the first session, I spoke about four chapters, but after that, I started speaking about only one chapter in a session. I mean, that's what Mata allowed me to do. And yeah, every week is an experience, and it was such an amazing journey for me, such an amazing learning for me throughout my life. Thanks to Mata, thanks to Rukmini Mata, who helped me in learning so much while I am evolving in my life. So with that, I would want you to I would like to take you through these two chapters, which I was planning to complete it by today, chapter 16th and chapter 17, which is the departure of Ishan. The last chapter that we spoke about was chapter 15, which is the Parijata tree and Narakasura, how Mata was actually involved in I mean, behind scenes involved in killing of this demon called Narakasura. I mean, this famous tradition, Diwali, has its own significance, and it was dated back to the Narakasura killing from ancient Dwaraka. And then is and such is when people started celebrating Diwali, and then I mean, traditionally they started lighting diyas, and it followed as a tradition. So we have seen how Mata was involved behind scenes, and like Sita Mata, how she was involved behind scenes in making Ravana available to be killed by Sri Ram. So this chapter, we will be talking about the departure of Ishan. Who is Ishan? And again, I would like you to take back to the life of Sujata. Ishan is none other than Sujata's own son. And why is Ishan departing? From whom is he departing? Where is he currently living? If you can recollect it, he is currently living with his mother, Sujata, in the women's quarters. Why are they living in women's quarters? It is because of their personal tragedy that her mother underwent, and she was supposed to be in Rukmini Mata's care and be trained by Rukmini Mata. So yeah, there are personal tragedies, personal circumstances, why she was in women's quarters along with Ishan. This lady, Sujata, was living one of I mean, not one, I would say the only one, but there are a couple of other people too who was long living in women's quarters, about 12 years or so. Now, Ishan was like 12, or last time when we saw him, he was like 12-year-old. Now, he must be turning like 14 years old by this chapter. But what does a 14 or 15-year-old do? We all can recollect to it, right? Who has teenagers? He is a teenager now. And again, he has a teenager tantrums, obviously. Yeah, all the mothers and fathers who are dealing with teenagers can totally reconnect or recollect all those situations or connect to this story. So departure of Ishan. Now, Ishan was growing restless. Why is he growing restless? He was 12-year-old now and increasingly beginning to challenge Sujata in ways he had not done before. Like during the kid, it was like mother telling everything to him and he is listening to it. He is following the directions. Now he has got his own ideas. He wants to execute his own ideas. He was questioning everything. Why should I do this? Why should I have this? Why are we living here? Why will you not allow me to go to outside world? What happens if we go to outside world? Where is my father? All these questions are starting to pop up in his mind, and he's asking those questions to his mother. And his mother, she was like not able to deal with those, but she really trusted Mata, and she has her own reasons. She didn't let her personal tragedy to her son, but that is making her son feel restlessness with more and more of questions that are popping up. And now we might wanted to understand that if we have so many things to hold back and we don't let children know at least some of the things, they will start growing restless. That's what I understood. They have their own ideas. Now until 12 years of age, this is also a scientific thing. Until 12 years of age, they will be connected or they'll be following the directions without by depending on their parents brains. But now, after 12 years, even their in Telugu we call it as Jataka Chakra, even they start developing their own life according to this science, and they'll have their own ideas that are popping up from their brain, where they will try to execute their ideas. They wouldn't know what is right and what is wrong even in that age, but at the younger age they'll try to explore everything. But after 12 years they'll start implementing those ideas. That's what I have understood. Then if they start implementing those ideas, and if it's not successful, and if they face any obstacles, or if their parents stop them, that is one of the things that they consider as a dangerous thing as a teenagers. If I say this to my mom, if I start implementing this, if my parents knows this, what happens? They'll say no, so I'll start doing it secretly in order to satisfy my intention, my ideas. That's what they start doing in teenage life. So Ishan, he he wants to implement his ideas, he wants to do everything, whereas he is living in a restricted area. He is not allowed to go outside of. And we have to understand Ishan too. He's a growing boy and he would love to explore, he would love to see what is there out in the outside world, right? But his mother is not allowing him, and she has her own reasons. What are they undergoing though? How is the brain of Sujata now? And how is the brain of Ishan now? They both have their own ideas, which is logically correct, which is okay, right? But how are they undergoing to? How are they trying to overcome these struggles? How is Sujata trying to overcome these struggles? Teenage tantrums are not easy to be handled by parents. I totally agree with that. But maybe stepping into the shoes of the kids during the teenagers, or recollecting the phase of our teenage, will actually help. What did we do while we are in teenage? Why, what did we try to explore? How is our mindset when we are in teenage? Would literally try to help when we are trying to deal with our teenage kids. So, what Ishan insisted that he remembered his father holding him when he was a baby, and he wants to know more about his father and his father's family. Uh, so there was a dream that Mata imprinted in Ishan's brain of his father, and then she was like she was he was asking those questions to him, to her, and then and then she couldn't actually answer any questions. He wants to know more about his father's family, where Sujata doesn't have any questions that can be answered for Ishan. She never told him the true story of the events that had taken place before they were sheltered in the women's quarters, and was hesitant to do so now. Why is she hesitant? If he knew about this story, maybe he would develop an interest in his father's family, and he would literally try to go and explore or meet his father's family. But if he goes there, what happens? There's Mahendra sitting out there waiting for Sujata to come back, and there's a danger out there. So that is why she couldn't actually tell anything about her background to her son. Um, so and there was again another issue. This was the ongoing issue, and there was again another issue raised between Ishan and Sujata. This is about Kashini. Who is Kashini? She is Amba's daughter. Amba's daughter, and Ishan started developing interest in with each other. So the two of them had grown increasingly attached to one another. And one day, what happened was Sujata took him aside and told him that Kashini's father would soon arrange a marriage for her, reminding him that she was born from the Kshatriya Varna, while they were Vaishyas. So they were from different castes at that point of time. And then those intercaste marriage, even at that point of time, was not acceptable. And Kashini was from a prominent Kshatriya family, and then Ishan was from a Vaishya's family. She was few years older than he and was reaching marriageable age. So if he is 12, and she is like 14-year old. So with that word, what happened was Ishan rose up with an anger. In a fit of anger, he had left the room where they were both speaking in private and stayed away for hours. It was the first time that they have truly argued between Kashini, and for the reason of Kashini. And again, this is also again a teenage tantrum where mom or parents will be dealing with. They were growing restlessness. Sujata was trying to take care of her son, because if Kashini's father comes to know about their relationship, then there is definitely a danger for um, Ishan. That's what she was trying to protect. Um, he must be thinking of his future, wondering he would want to spend this every hour of his life in women's quarters, because a growing he was only the boy who was raised in that women's quarters. He was running everywhere. Every woman were dotting on him, and he was surrounded with lots and lots of women. This is making him restlessness, because boys, their bodies or brains, they wanted to be very, very active. If they were allowed or made to sit calm, then that's when they will stop thinking. they will literally stop thinking. And I personally noticed, even I have a son, and if I make him to sit inside, he will definitely watch the TV, he will attach to the screen, or he'll be like he'll be getting bored, you know. So most of the boys, they would really want to spend their energy with with their equal counterparts. It's not like they want to play with the girls always, you know. When my daughter comes and wants to literally try to play with my son, he is like, no, 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 I don't want to. I don't want to play girly things. So at first I was literally surprised, but it was like I totally tried to understand him later, because he wants to spend his energy with the equal counterparts. There should be an equal counterpart. Now, if everyone around him was women, they'll be like literally women's or girls. They'll be like thinking very carefully, and they'll have literally different kinds of mindset to execute their energy. But that doesn't have to be same with the boys. So this boy Ishan was literally trying to find an equal counterpart to execute his interests or implement his interests. That literally made him feel frustrated to stay in women's quarters. And when he was back, she tried to console him, she tried to talk to him, but he was not talking. And all these are called teenage tantrums. And Sujata was in a boat where she is trying to educate. But if she was in a family, with a family around, she might have dealt with that. Or maybe she has a husband, she might have dealt with him in a different way. But now she is with Mata, and she totally relied on Mata to give her the strength to deal with this teenage tantrums. So one final day, Mata really understood what can be hidden from her. She finally understood, and she finally called upon Sujata. And then she finally called upon Sujata, and then she was very much eagerly waiting to meet Mata too. So both of them met each other at the temple, and then Mata did a turn to her, and then she asked, what's happening, Sujata?" Sujata told her that, Mata, you know everything. I am not able to deal with these tantrums at this age with Ishan. And then Mata was like, Sujata, that's a human life. He is at the age where he wants to go out and explore and set his own life. If you let him stay in the women's quarters, within this surroundings, how would he learn? What is the life for him? He needs to have his own life, right? He needs to establish a proper life. This is not the life for him. That soul is not designed to stay in this women's quarters. So it is time for you to let go of him. And Sujata was shocked by this, but yet she immediately understood that Mata was there behind the scenes, and she would definitely take care of Ishan. And Sujata was waiting to hear Mata's plan. And then Mata was telling her that let him go to Indraprastha, and then I have found a very good couple to take care of Ishan. He would be living with them, and then they would actually take care of Ishan very much as you do. Do you really want to meet those couple? Maybe I can arrange for that. And then you can stay here, and then he can go, is what Mata said. And then Sujata realized that, okay, it's now the time to part with my son and to let him go, and I still have work here. to do. That's why Mata is allowing me to stay in the women's quarters. And Mata did specifically mention that you still have things to deal here in Dwaraka, Sujata, is what she told. And then she realized, okay, I still have things to deal with here. And she realized the importance of learning that. Learning in Dwarka. So they were walking with each other, and Mata was emphasizing that Sujata, you should at least tell some of the background or history uh, about about your background to your son. You know, if you tell him some of the things, maybe that will satisfy him to some extent, and maybe more questions he will explore his own questions. But if you do not let him know anything, and if you hide everything from him, he might go on exploring on his own, and he might fall into the danger. And this is very, very, very important. It's not that you can hold everything or hide everything from your kids. At least the best way that you can reveal the things outside, you can put it in a good words or nicest way, and then reveal it. If you try to hide everything from your kids, what happens is they will try to execute with their own intentions. You never know what's happening or what how kids are thinking inside their brains. Even if you are mother or a father, they will have their own ideas. You can just try to educate them as a mother or a father, I would say. But what happens is after the teenage or during the teenage, we never can estimate what they are capable of doing it, and they will definitely try to do it. The only things that you can do is just try to iterate the things in the nicest way to them by holding something. So if you have something that you're holding, just try to put it in the nicest way, if so that they can understand. If they can understand, then they will stop their curiosity. you know all they need is to get the answers for their curiousness. you know if they get their answers, then they'll definitely stop their research. If they're going in a bad direction, then that will stop their curiousness to go in those direction. They do not know if that is a bad thing or a good thing. I know that it's a bad thing as a mother, right? But my kid doesn't know that it's a bad or a good. They'll have that curiousness to see if it's a good or bad. One day my kid was telling me that, okay, what if I touch this, mom? Then I said that no, 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 it's going to hurt you. No, no, it is a bad thing. You don't do. I didn't say that it's going to hurt you. It's a bad thing. Don't do that. And why my when I turned my back, he definitely touched that thing, and it developed something on his fingers. And I was like, okay, I should have told him that it develops something on your hands and it ruins your body, uh, all those things. So he literally wants to touch that. He is curious. I can't just say to him that it's bad thing and you should stop that. Maybe I have to give a reason. I should have given him the reason why is it bad to him. That's the patience level maybe parents might need. So Mata was encouraging Sujata to tell at least some of the background, so that Ishan would stop having that curiosity, and maybe his curiosity can be limited and executed in a right way if he knew the things. So again, and this was the things, and then she started, and Sujata was also telling Mata that they Kashini and Ishan started developing a new relationship, and they were like they wanted to be with each other. They started developing interest with each other, and then Mata was like thinking for a few minutes, and then okay, that's good, but now they have to go in different ways to actually find their own paths, but there'll be time in future where they can come together and meet with each other. That's what Mata told her, and then Sujata was relieved. Okay, now if Ishan is not in Dwaraka, where is Ishan going? Ishan is going to Indraprastha to live with two older couple. At least for now, Ishan was far away from Dwaraka, and Ishan will not be among Mahendra's family, or he will not be with the Kashini's family, because she was fearing of Kashini's, I mean, Kashini's father, right? So both of them, at least Sujata was relieved that her son is safe for now, and if he goes to Indraprastha, that will be a best place for him. He has his own talents, right? Dancing was his talent, and dance due to that talent, he and Subhadra is there in Indraprastha, encouraging all the arts, right? So she was relieved. And then after that, after Mata left, once Mata left, she came back, and then she told Ishan that he was leaving to Indraprastha. And then Ishan was also happy about that, very, very happy that Mata arranged this for this. And then he was thinking that Sujata would join him, but Sujata did let him know that I am not joining you for now. You are only the person that is going to Indraprastha. So he kind of felt sad, but he was very, very curious to go out and explore himself. Now, uh, they were sitting with each other during that night, and I mean, of course, they were mother and son, right? They couldn't bear that separation, but yet it is what it is. They have to accept that it is the life. And Ishan did happily leave women's quarters, and he traveled to search, or in his own journey to find what is out there in this world, to Indraprastha. So Sujata is like, she can't imagine what life will be like, but she is actually learning not to look ahead, just to focus on the present hour. And he is still with me now. So whenever until when Ishan was there, she was just concentrating on the present hour, not on the future. Because most of the time what we do is we try to kind of identify the future, think of the future, what it would look like, and concentrate on the future. Rather, we would miss that intention of focusing on the present hour. That is very, very important, friends. The thing is, we should concentrate on the present hour rather than the future. The present holds the joy, the present holds the karma, right? The karma that we will be developing is because of the present actions, not the future actions. So maybe our mind, and for all the meditators, it is very, very, very well known fact that we should not concentrate on the past or future. That is why Patriji did emphasize on concentrating on the breath. Breath is present, and that will actually help you in bringing you to the present moment. So so that's the thing. Even not only during the meditation, even in the general life too, uh, we should be concentrating on the present moment. Sometimes I was able to observe most of the things, like parents were uh, running after the money, earning the money, or executing the job, so that in future their kids will be happy. And they kind of miss that present tense to be happily engaged with the kids. And after a while, when they were old, they were relieved of every responsibilities, and they will then start developing that, okay, I miss the kids, I miss the kids. I mean, I've observed so many things. During their engage, they were always after earning the money or executing the responsibilities, and they'll be like executing their frustrations that they were developing due to those running after the responsibilities or running after the earnings. And they totally miss their time. They totally miss spending their time with the kids. And after a while, what happens is, when they were old, they have nothing to do, no responsibilities, nothing to do. Then they will start then they will start this or then this they will start uh, experiencing this experiencing that the kids, they were missing the kids, right, this feeling of missing the kids. And then they will start having the hold, okay, why don't you respect me, why don't you take care of me, why don't you there are both sides, like pros and cons to it, you know. And when kids are like busy with their kids and their family life, they'll be like, okay, wait, hold on, hold on. And yeah, if that's what I've observed in so many parents, maybe it's time for us to be at the present moment. If we literally enjoy with the kids at the present moment, you will start feeling having that completeness within you. Okay, I am full, I'm full of love, my kids are full of love. It's how best you can train them is by executing your love, by showing your love, by spending time with the kids at the present moment. Do not worry about their future, do not worry about their life in future. Of course, you're doing all the things. That doesn't mean that you have to sit and only look at the kids. I mean, you all know the best way to balance between your responsibilities and also spending time with kids, right? So that's what Sujata mentioned, that I am focusing on the present hour, not on the future. In future, of course, he will not be with me, but now he is with me. I will fully experience that joy of love, that while I was along with him. That's what she realized. And then they were happily living in women's quarters waiting for the time to get separated. And finally, the day came, and then Ishan left, and then there is a void in Sujata's life, because he was a go-to person. He was the immediate thing that she was living with him for many years, and he was the immediate thing that she needs to attend every day. There's a person that is dependent on Sujata's life for every day, to take care of, right? And that's the human brain. If we do not have anyone by our side, you know what happens? Um, uh, I mean, that creates a boring life for us. That creates a void in us, and that develops the word called boring in our life. So everyone needs at least one person whom he or she can rely on, so that they will start having something as a habit in their life, you know. So it created a void, but there are people around her who they are trying to whom she is actually feeling comfortable too. She's trying to hang on with them and then learn from them. And so that's how the life was going on. And this was chapter 16. What did we understand about this chapter? About dealing with teenage tantrums. I mean, yeah, we might not be able to deal with them a lot, but we can definitely take Mata's help in directing us to a rightful direction to while dealing with these tantrums from the kids. And it's also important how best we can execute our actions in a safest way to convey our messages to the kids. So that's the important thing. And then we will jump on to the last chapter of this part 4, sorry, part 1, which is ancient life in Dwaraka. And this one is titled as The World Beacons. What is the world beacons? Beacon is nothing but to call or a signal, which means if the world is signaling, whom is it signaling to? Whom is it calling to? And who has written this book? It's Dena Merriam, of course, but we are all talking about Sujata's life. What is the world? Who is the world calling? World is calling Sujata. And why is the world calling? That's the very, 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 very important thing. Why is the world calling? Uh, her life is very plain, very simple, and she was very happy here. She is not worrying out what is there. She is in a protective care. She is very protective. She is happily living in there. She is living in a protective care, and that protective care is none other than Mata's care. Now, she has learned something over this past 12 to 13 years, right? And why is the world signaling or calling her? Because she needs to go out to face the reality. And unless and until if you are covered in a protective care or a zone, you'll be like everything is fine. I am the greatest person. I am the goodest person. I am the good person in this world. Everything is calm. But who is watching out there? You are a soul who have come here to execute your responsibilities. You can't just stay in your comfort zone. You have to come out of your comfort zone, deal with the reality, and see what you are teaching and see what you are learning out of that comfort zone. That's called the facing the reality, facing the real world challenges. However, you meditate, how much ever you meditate, how long you meditate. I mean, yeah, of course, if I meditate for 24 hours, that means I am connecting to the higher consciousness. But your body is in this world, right? Your body is in this world, but you are like taking away that 24 hours from the world. You're taking your body away from this 24 hours from that world, and you're meditating. Of course, that's to gain the energy. Now, you can't just sit like that forever and then stay away from this world. You have to deal with this world. You have to learn from this world. You have to execute your wisdom or teach in this world. Sometimes people will be like, okay, I have the wisdom, I have all the stuff, and as soon as they get some stuff, they'll start preaching. When they start preaching, after a while they'll start developing that ego, that I am the greatest person because I have this long hours of meditation, I have this long hours of experience, this long years of experience. And then people will start developing that ego. You know what, for me personally, what I consider as a knowledgeable or a wisdom person is this is not about how long you meditated, or how long you was in care of someone else, or how long how much experience you have. That is not the person that I am looking for. How best you are implementing that knowledge is the thing that is most essential. For me at least, I do not want to comment on others. How best you are implementing that wisdom. Some people will be like they'll preach for hours and hours and hours, but when the implementation part comes, they'll be like, okay, this is not for me. This is not for me, and I'll be surprised. Like, you're preaching at some you're preaching for a lot, but you're missing the implementation thing. And I would want to take an example of Rama and Ravana here. Rama, he knows the stuff. And do you think that Ravana doesn't know any stuff? What is dharma? What is adharma? What does the ancient scriptures say? Ravana definitely knows everything, everything, as much as Rama. But what did he miss? He missed the implementation. But what did Rama miss? He implemented everything. He did not preach. He did not say anything. He implemented. That is why he was to till date, he is to till date standing as an icon for learning the behavior. If But we do not actually mention about Ravana, because he missed that implementation part. He knows everything. He has 10 heads and 10 heads, right? And he should probably be having 10 brains too. According to the tales that we have heard, he should be having 10 brains too. But what is the importance of brains? He had a lot of wisdom. He had lots and lots of meditation hours. He does lots of the stuff, but the implementation, he missed that implementation part. So now is the time for Sujata to implement the knowledge that she had learned from Mata. She was in a comfort zone until that point of time, but it is time for her to come out of that comfort zone and be herself. Now, of course, Mata will be there, of course Sri Krishna will be there, of course our higher self will be there for us to guide us, but it is you are here for a reason. I am here for a reason. I took this life for a reason. I have to execute that responsibility. It is not like you should stay in a cocoon and then feel that you are like protected by this cocoon, and no, it doesn't work out that way. You have to come out of your comfort zone, deal with every relationship in front of you, and either learn from them or teach something from them. If there's a chance that they need some help, you can help. It is not like I gained lot of wisdom. I gained everything. I have this long years of experience with Mata. She taught me everything. She can just step outside the world and then start preaching. That doesn't work out that way. When you start stepping out of the comfort zone from Mata, she actually has to learn so much, implement that, deal with the every responsibility, deal with the real world. And then when there is time, when there's definitely a time, she can definitely pass on that wisdom. That's how it works. It's not like she can right away jump on it. So that is the world, the beacons. And again, there might be lots and lots of experiences in this world. There's a sudden thought that's popping up in my brain. When we sit in meditation, we kind of get that experiences a lot. We will, I mean, people who are meditating, they always talk about the experiences. You know, I would want to differentiate between two kinds of experience. One is during the meditation, and one is with the real world meditation. What is a real world meditation? First of all, when you come out of that meditation and when you're facing the real world, and yet you be there as a spectator, and of course learning from the incidents that is happening around you, is called a real world meditation. But yet you are not subjecting to it, or you're not reacting to it, rather than you are dealing with it in a humble way. That's called real world meditation, real meditation, or real world meditation. So experiences, when you get in the meditation, you'll be like, people will be talking about the astral travel or any kinds of visions, missions, all those stuff, right? For me personally, I do not, I'm not, I mean, I do not get those visions or experiences while I meditate. But I can strongly say that when I'm outside of that meditation, there's a lots and lots that Mata is teaching to me. Um, that is what I call as real experiences or real world experiences. If you're outside when you're outside the meditation, when I'm dealing with something, yesterday night for example, my kids were so much excited and they wanted to listen a story, and while listening the story they were like jumping here and there, and then I was like, by the end of the day I was tired, and then I couldn't actually accept their inattentiveness, you know. So I was yelling at them, do you not know how to sit and listen the story? Do you not understand the way of listening the story? The reason for that is they were literally tired and then they wanted to go to bed, but yet I was like making them to sit in front of me. Uh, it's my mistake that I have to make them sleep, and then maybe I can sleep and then cuddle them and then narrate the stories. But I didn't do that. Because I am expecting the things that should happen my way, not their way. It's the time to understand their way, not my way, because it's the end of the day, right? I should have that patience. I should develop that patience. The mistake is mine. So what is the thing that I have learned from that? Patience. You cannot expect the patience from your kids if you don't have a patience. That's what I have learned. So yeah, this is one kind of the experience. And now, if you develop that patience, what happens? You'll find out a solution for the situation you are in. And then, if you find out a solution, what happens? Everything will be peaceful around you, and you will vibrate with the energy called love. And that's what it makes your family feel comfortable, your friends feel comfortable. If you do not vibrate with that energy, and if your energy is going haywire, then then you will start attracting those all those negative patterns in your life. So the most thing is how you deal with the reality, how you deal with the real situation is what I call as an experience. And thanks to Mata, thanks to Rukmini Mata, who is constantly and consistently teaching me about how to face the real world. And this week, I was able to experience that human suffering. I'll be talking about that human suffering at the end of this chapter. But yeah, now Sujata was being called by the outside world to come outside of that comfort zone. We are all from the same consciousness. I agree, we are all from the same consciousness, but we have divided from that consciousness to for a reason. Uh, and you just can't be in a comfort zone and then think that okay, everything is fine. You have to deal with the real world, you have to face the real world challenges, and you have to face the reality and deal with the situation. It's your soul that has designed to accept or face this reality, and what you're how you're thinking in that situation matters. How you're dealing with that situation matters. And that there's no use of knowledge. What is the use of a knowledge or energy that you gain through meditation without executing or implementing it? Implementation, some people when I see, they do not talk much, they do not talk more about all the wisdom, but whenever we are with them, we'll be like very 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 happy, peaceful and calm, you know. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? Because they're happy in their life. They're dealing with everything in their life and they're vibrating with that love energy. That's why that makes us feel calm. That's very, very, very important. But for some people who preach a lot, we don't find anything. If they don't implement everything, and we'll be like, most of them will be like, if I start preaching a lot and if I miss the implementation part, tomorrow you come and ask me, okay, you spoke about this, but you're doing nothing. You're not implementing it. That would be an assumption for you on me, right? So, implementation, the reason why I took this much of time to explain this is because this was, I don't know, but this was actually the most important part that I have learned through this through this week, and through this past 2 weeks. I missed the last week's session, but yeah, through this 2 weeks, I was really emphasizing on implementing the knowledge that I have. And of course, we are human beings. We might have ups and lows, but it's always, learning is always consistent. There's so much to learn outside in this world, but we will consistently learn and constantly try to execute that learning through the implementation, right? That's the human life. So now Ishan did go for several weeks, and it has been a tearful parting for both of them, and an emptiness had set for Sujata after he had left. I already told you there was a void in Sujata's life for Ishan, right? So after a few weeks, Sumati did call Sujata and then told her that there was a man waiting for you outside in the garden in the lotus pond. Go meet him. And then she was like, okay, a man meeting for me? It's not Ishan, obviously. Who else would come and meet me? I do not know who is in here. If they had come inside, definitely that's not Mahendra. That's not anyone else. They have come in. They have stepped into the protective zone of Mata. That means there must be someone special. But who else is left for me? A man is waiting for me? She asked, bewildered, wondering who it could be. Who is it? Go and find out, Sumati replied with a smile. So she put aside all the work, and then she hurried outside and caught a sight of lone male figure, his back to me. With a growing curiosity, she approached him, and when she was just a few steps away, he suddenly turned around. For a moment, she froze. Who was he? He was a beloved brother stood before her. Who is her beloved brother? When we listen to her childhood, Abhishek. Abhishek was her brother. She thought she lost him, and if you properly remember, she caught the sight of Arjuna. Right? Arjuna was the one who cracked her heart open, because her heart was so much closed with all the negativity and all the stuff, right? And Arjuna's sight was the one which cracked open her heart. And Abhishek, she caught sight of Abhishek at that point of time, but she was not much sure that if it's her brother or not. But now she could confirm that it's Abhishek. Abhishek, and Abhishek, when he saw Sujata, he's what did he say? Malini. So Malini was her birth name, and she turned as a Sujata in this women's quarters. But Malini, he came forward, smiling, and reached out to embrace Sujata. But instinctively, I refrained from returning his embrace, unsure of how to greet this brother I had not seen in over 25 years, except for that brief moment years earlier when I had left the women's quarters to see the arrival of Arjuna. So she was thinking all of this. Was he the same one? Was he the things? Was he the same one who I so much loved? And all these things were popping up, and she took a step back, and then she was observing her male figure, his male figure. She had grown. Was grown up as a man, grown into a man now, and now in his late 30s. Already there was thin creases on his forehead and around his eyes, and she suspected that he had not had an easy life since our parting. And even Abhishek was very much happy to meet his sister. Maybe this is the life that Mata wanted to give to Sujata, because if she did go to Indraprastha, she would really miss meeting Abhishek, right? She would really miss meeting Abhishek. And she had a life here. She had to deal with some responsibilities here, and that's what Mata wanted Sujata to deal with. So she was asking, how did you find me? She asked, and it's a long story. I will tell it to you, but let us sit somewhere else. So they were sitting beside a lotus pond, and they were talking to each other. So you're looking well, Abhishek. What are you really happy? And I think where how are your parents? And then Abhishek was telling all the stuff to her again. So the only parents that I knew, Malini, were our parents. And then Malini was shocked. Sujata was shocked. Oh, okay, how come did Mahendra said that you have found your parents, right? And you found your parents and then you left, right? Wasn't that why you left? Wasn't that why you left? And he said, it was a lie. Do you know why he sent me away? And this is very, very, very true story that is unfolding. Do you know why he sent me away? So she was looking at him baffled. You may not know this, but Mahendra had been pursuing Amma for quite some time. Pitaji turned a blind eye and wouldn't believe her when she told him about the way Mahendra was making advances. He couldn't imagine that it was true. One day, I unexpectedly came home early, and when I entered the back room, this was a heartbreaking incident where none of the kid wants to be in, but yet it was the life of Abhishek at that point of time. And when I entered the back room, I found him on top of her. He raped her. They were both on the floor, and he was holding her down with his hand over her mouth. While she was struggling to free herself, if I had not come home then, I do not know what else he would have done to her. He might have strangled her. I ran from there, terribly distressed by what I had witnessed. My rage was beyond my control for many hours, and I only returned home late in the evening. After Pitaji had gone to sleep, Amma sat with me and in tears whispered that her friend Mohit was going to take her away. I didn't argue with her. I didn't try to stop her because I knew she would never be able to face Mahendra or other dancers again. So the thing is, why did her mother run away? It's there's a strong reason for her to run away, because she was not being protected by her own husband. Her husband turned a blind eye for the person that is doting on a married women. How should a husband react? He turned a blind eye towards her concerns, and there's no one else to protect her. And on top of that, her son saw her being raped by one of the guy, and how could she face him in future? How could she be with them? And with all this in mind, she wanted to run away with one of her friend. And Abhishek was like, okay, go ahead, mom, find your peace. She was like that, which Sujata to till date do not know, and this is the reason why she was being. This is the reason why she was also being revealed that truth. If Ishan should know the truth, again Sujata should also know the truth about her parents, about her mom too, right? She can't be holding that truth. She can't run away from that truth through developing an anger about her own mother. right? Everyone needs to know the reasons, at least to some extent, and this is the reason why Sujata's mother ran away from home, leaving all her children. She could not sacrifice her personal identity for anyone else, because it's her own personal identity. Of course she has a family, of course she has kids, but she was in a position. Okay, for example, if she still stays there, would Mahendra leave her alone like that? No, right? Would her husband try to take care of him? And could she face her own son in such a way in future? No, right? With all this in mind, she just felt that that was the only option left for her, and she decided that path. And I couldn't blame Sujata's mother too for choosing this option, and not did Abhishek. So he raped her. Sujata asked in disbelief. Abhishek nodded, turning my face away. I recalled Anjali's words about my mother being abused, but I had thought she meant that Mahendra had struck her. She just thought that she hit her, or struck her, or something. But not for a moment did Sujata allow herself to believe that he had violated her in such a way. Shaken by Abhishek's words, my chest began to heave, and the hatred I had once felt for Mahendra returned, compounded by my remorse over blaming her for abandoning us. So she was consistently and constantly blaming her mother, because her mother escaped, and that's why she was put in that shoes. And then everyone started blaming her about her mother's behavior, ran away along with a friend, eloped with a friend. But and then because of that she was scheduled for a marriage. And how mean is that guy Mahendra? She had hold of her mother, and then he set up a marriage with her daughter. And that's the kind of mentality that he was in. Even during Dwapara Yuga, and in the presence of Mata and Sri Krishna, there were such people. And because they had these kinds of people, Mata and Sri Krishna they were taking the reincarnations to have to reform these people and to free the people out of their notorious intentions around them. So she had no choice to leave, but Malini, Mohit had been very kind to her and couldn't bear to see her being abused. She had been worrying over what to do for some time, but after I had walked in on them, she knew she couldn't stay. Yeah, I mean, to be in a situation where a son can see a mother like that, she couldn't bear that. For the sake of her own dignity, she had to leave. She made me promise to take care of you and to protect you from Mahendra. I didn't want to tell you all of this because you were so young then, but you shouldn't be angry at Amma. She couldn't stay in that situation. Mahendra wanted to get rid of me because I had walked in on them and witnessed his abuse. He said that he had found my parents, but in truth, he had found an uncle. My parents had died in the road accident that left me wandering and lost when I was 4. When Amma found me, this uncle, the brother of my father, didn't really want me, but he sent me for training in weaponry, and I became a proper kshatriya, eventually marrying a wonderful woman. I want you to meet her. So, yeah, that's what happened. He wanted to send him away for that particular reason of being witnessing the horrible incident that he had done to his mother. Mahendra had done to his mother. And then he sent away saying that he has found his parents, but he had found one of his uncle, but his uncle really didn't want him. And then he sent to a weaponry classes to him, and then there he was grown, and he has trained to be a proper kshatriya. And then he married a women there, and they were living in Dwaraka right now. And you wanted to meet her. So, this confirms that Abhishek is a Kshatriya. Your love for weaponry. Abhishek was dealing with weapons a lot, and he developed a lot of interest for the weapons. Where his father tried to be like, no, 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 you shouldn't do the weapons. But this is how it was in her. in his blood to develop an interest for weapons. So he chuckled, then continued, "The day I saw you by the city gate, I had just returned with my wife to live in Dwaraka, and I had not yet had a chance to see you or Pitaji. But I knew it was you that day, and so I went to find Pitaji. He told me what happened and said that both you and Uddhav had been killed. But of course, I knew that you were still alive and have been looking for you ever since. I didn't think to come here for a long time." So yeah, that's what happened. And then Pitaji, how is Pitaji is what Sujata asked. And then Abhishek was like, he is alive, but it is far better for you to stay away from that community. Mahindra is still full of hate and the desire for vengeance. So she definitely has a relationship with Mahindra to deal with his vengeance, because she is the first lady that escaped Mahendra's wrath, and this hurt his ego a lot. I mean, how much does people react when their ego was hurt, right? This is one good example for that. So she started developing, or she started realizing that her emotions, or wrath, or the negative feelings or hatred that's popping up from her mind upon hearing Mahendra's name. So, and then they were talking about Mata. Mata did really save me, and then she asked me for the help. No, she helped me. She helped me, and then I learned a lot in this women's quarters by listening to others. And outside world do not know who Mata is, Abhishek. That's what she was telling. Yeah, really, outside world do not know who Mata is. Of course, I believe that she is completely a reincarnation of Lakshmi Devi and the highest celestial being. But you know what? When it is when we think Mata as a Lakshmi Devi, what we will do is we'll start doing pujas. We'll start seeing a separation between Lakshmi Devi and us. But when we talk about Sita Mata or Rukmini Devi, what happens? We will develop we will develop a lots and lots of closeness towards that incarnations, to that lives. Why is it Lakshmi Devi, it is programmed in our mind. Lakshmi Devi, Vishnumurti, Shiva, Parvati, all our brains are programmed to believe that they are the highest celestial beings or lives elsewhere in this world, in the higher celestial worlds. But Rukmini Mata, Sita Mata, they lived among us. That makes the humans feel comfortable about those incarnations, those lives. And people could understand only the people that live along with them, right? So that's why I feel that we have a less distance between Rukmini Mata or Sita Mata, but we do have the most distance with Lakshmi Devi or uh, Parvati Mata. Ultimately, we should obviously be able to recognize those higher incarnations. But for me, at this stage, I feel that I am so close to Rukmini Mata, for where I can easily rely on, where I can easily think her as of my own Mata, right? But maybe this a stage will definitely be there for me to realize her own higher self. But for now, I think I feel that I feel a lots and lots of love that is being emitted by Rukmini Mata. Uh, that reduces the difference or a separation between Mata and ourself. Probably that's why we kind of get connected with that Rukmini Mata or Sita Mata a lot, because they lived among us, they live among us, and they are still, their vibration, the love vibrations are still among us. So doesn't just take care of their wounds. Mata doesn't just take care of their wounds. It's not about removing their wounds. She helps them begin a new life. That is her real work. Transformation from inside is her real work. Um, so, but there are many in Dwaraka who resent her initiatives and say she is breaking with our traditions. I think those that speak that way do not want to lose their control because they do not want to lose their control. That's why making the bad talks about Mata. She does break with some of the traditions and for a good reason. It is time those particular traditions are broken. So these days we see so many activists are like going away or against to something, right? Something good. But if that activist has some good purpose, which is higher than the original or established set of rule, then I wouldn't say that that person is an activist. I would say that person is a reformist. You know, Rukmini Mata or Sita Mata is one such personalities where they told us that by executing their actions is to break the traditions that is no longer useful. That's very, very, very important, which is not making good for the society, which is not going well for this society. That old traditions, you have to overcome of those traditions. You shouldn't just stand there, sit there, follow that old kind of traditions, because your grandmothers, grandfathers, everyone worked on those traditions and they were well, because at that point of time they were good. But now if it's not being useful to anyone in the society, it's time that you overcome those traditions and find and be a person where you can be a torch keeper or a light bearer for the new upcoming generations, to find a new tradition, right? You can be that too. So that's what Mata did really emphasize on. And again, that new thing or the thing, it shouldn't go haywire. It should actually tie to the it actually should be tied to the lines of dharma, and it should actually be useful to everyone around you or in the society. So Mata is the most loving, caring person, so very real and approachable, not a high Devi in some distant place. I already told you, right? I mean, she's not like a Lakshmi Devi or anyone else sitting in the higher celestial world. She is the one which lives among us. She is the one which who is here to train us on how to deal our own life, how to bring out our potentiality, our capacity outside of us. When your potentiality surfaces, or and that's when you start realizing that okay, you have this much of capacity within you. You will start executing that. That's what take your life in your hands. Take your power back. The take your power back is will happen when you start realizing your potentiality, and when you start realizing your capacity that you can. So yeah, all these conversations are going on between Abhishek and Sujata. Mata did tell him that the day when we spoke, that there were things I had to attend in Dwaraka. She must have meant the reunion with Abhishek. All the details were signs, her way of telling me that it was time to leave the women's quarters. So she finally understood that it was time for her to leave the women's quarters. So, and again, she was she did actually meet Anjali and all, and everyone. And then she was telling that I do not. And then Abhishek left on that day. He said that I'll be coming again here to pick you up when Mata signals me. So she was waiting for that turn, and then Mata, she had developed this thing where. where she had developed a feeling that she was losing this women's quarters, and she was not sure how to face the outside world, because for 12 to 13 years she was not here, right? She was not facing the outside world. Outside world is full of the things, mixed with lot of emotions. But here in women's quarters, even if those emotions surfaces, there is this mata's protective care. Those emotions are dealt easily, right? But outside world, it's not like that. She has to face that real world by dealing with real emotions. So that's what she was scared of. And then Sujata was comforting her that you are not living as Sujata, but you cannot truly know what you have gained until you go out into the world and test yourself. This place is imbued with Mata's presence, and it is easy to feel uplifted here. You must learn to find her with you wherever you are. Now is the time to put into practice all that you have been given here. So this is very, very, very important, and I have spoken about this at the starting of this chapter. It is very, very, very important to execute your knowledge, to implement your knowledge, what you have learned during meditation or what you have learned during the service. You cannot just, it's obviously easy to feel uplifted when you are in a protective care. And Mata's presence will obviously make you feel comfortable when you're still here. But it is very, very, very important for you to go outside and test what you have learned here. Now is the time to put into practice all that you have been given here. That is why we are here. Even though we are in higher celestial worlds or higher beings, we were equipped with all sorts of knowledge. Why did we come here on this earth as a human? It's because we have to uh, test our wisdom, test our knowledge. We have by dealing with the real world situations. Human life is not a simple thing. It has this maskings and delusions where we forget our own self and forget our own higher self. Uh, but it is this human body is given with two great machines, two great tools inside our human body. One is heart and one is brain. So when you align that brain and heart with each other, that's when you start executing your functionalities or your responsibilities in a nicest way. That's a human life. But often what we miss is that alignment between heart and brain, and we wouldn't stay aligned with all our feelings. And that's what we miss. And meditation actually helps us to align that heart and brain in a straight line. And then that's when you start executing your responsibilities or functionalities or face the real world with a proper alignment, and not with a disalignment. So that's what I have understood. The women who pass through here never really leave. Mata will definitely follow their progress, and she will do the same with you, is what Sujata did comfort Mata. Now, see, she also told her that she would meet a person in person this week or later. Maybe Mata will tell you that. So who is he? Who is that person that I'm going to meet? She said that I'll tell you the day before, and then the day before came, and then she told Sumati told Sujata that you are going to meet your father, and then she was like, she knows everything about him, and she that feeling of their parenthood, that attachment surfaced, and then she literally broke in tears, and then she wanted to cook some food for her, for his father, and there's no time for her, and she immediately prepared the food, and then there's a person waiting outside of this women's quarters with a chariot to take her along to meet his father. and that's the Mata's plan. So when she came out, she noticed a full moon and realized why Mata had set that night for their meeting. With the moon lighting the sky, we would have no trouble finding our way along the dark country roads. So yeah, we wouldn't they wouldn't have to struggle, right? So and there's also a significance why there's a full moon night that was planned, right? I'll tell you about that later. I didn't so she actually didn't notice much about that chariot or the driver that is driving the chariot. But as they rode through the streets of Dwaraka, I felt, um, uh, in the sense, Sujata felt his calming presence, and a sense of deep peace swept over me, as if Sujata has imbibed a mind settling drink. It was like a cocktail for her, you know. So when you take that kind of drinks, what happens, it's like you will go in an altered state, and when altered state, or it will be like your nerves are calmed down. It's kind of that mind settling drink. When it felt like she drank a mind settling drink as long as she was in his presence. And there's a full moon on top of it. What does a full moon represent? That full moon have a strong and intense impact on your heart. The light of the full moon itself is so rejuvenating that its impact is very intense on transforming your heart. It works on your heart. Moon is manasu in Telugu, or the one I could say, the heart. It works on your heart's consciousness. So her nervousness of the last few hours fled. They rode in a silence for a little over an hour, leaving Dwaraka far behind. By the time he helped, so they reached to a place, and then he helped her down from the chariot and handed me the basket of food I have prepared for my father. I felt quite composed and ready to meet whatever awaited me. So as long as she was in in his presence, he was giving a comfort to her. As long as she came outside of that Dwaraka, and then she was ready to meet her father. She was ready with all the stuff. Otherwise, her heart and mind was thinking different things, and different uh, so different feelings and emotions that surfaced, because it was her father whom she was going to meet from long ago, and there was lots and lots of things that happened, and how would he react, how could he face, and all the stuff, right? So all these things calmed down, and she was ready, and she doesn't yet know what that calmness is, right? Because she was in the presence of that particular person who gave that calmness without words. I'm emphasizing this point again, without words. It's because she was in his presence. She just felt that. That's what I was speaking about earlier. Some people might not preach, some people might not say anything, but as long as we are in their presence, we will feel that calmness. We will feel that vibration. We will feel that mm, calming energy in our brain. That's what we need to be. Every meditator, or every person, even if they don't meditate, if they are vibrating with a love energy, we obviously will be attracted towards them, you know. Some people, they'll be like talking a lots of good things and right things, wrong things, but what they miss is the tone of their voice. They'll go haywire. They'll talk good things itself, but the tone of their voice goes haywire. But for some other people, when I noticed, you know, they'll be like we literally kind of want to be in their presence. It's just staying in their presence, we just feel calm and comfortable, even if we are like 7 countries away. We'll literally feel calming by talking to them. That's the kind of energy that they vibrate with. That is the ultimate stage that we need to be in. It's not like how much we are speaking, how much we are helping others. That doesn't mean experience. It is how much energy of love that you are vibrating with will attract those people and energies towards you. So this person who rode the chariot was one such person who is vibrating with such highest kind of love vibration, where he might not he need not use those his words. His vibration itself is calming the people around him. So they took. So he gave him the torch in the sense at that point of time would be the lanterns. So she took the lantern and went into the cave, and where one of the man was sitting and crying. But as soon as this lady Sujata went in, she saw that man woke up, and then he saw. Her, and then she was saying that Pitaji, it's me. And then that man was her father couldn't believe, and he believed that his daughter was dead long ago. And then Sujata did make him feel comfortable and did reiterate that it is me again, it is Malini again. uh, he was very, very happy to see him, and he learned everything after everything what happened after that. And then it was very, very a rough way after Sujata left her home, because Mahendra did accuse her father, and then pointed out everything on her father, and his community also started going haywire about Sujata eloping with Uddhav, and he has to face all these circumstances. If he would have been very strong during and very strong and supporting husband, her mother wouldn't leave. He would have very strong and supported his daughter. She wouldn't have left. And see how what situation he is in now. Uh, Everyone were there around him, but he has to live a lonely life because of not having the strength. Say no to what you have to say no. Say yes to what you have to say yes. It is not like yes always, it's not like no always. Your human life is here for a purpose. And you have to use your rational thinking. Your human brain is designed to think rationally. When you think rationally, you will develop a sense of things like, yeah, some things might be yes to you, some things might be no to you. It is not that other persons are great and more experienced than me, so you have to say yes to that. No, it doesn't work out that way. If other persons are like even more, let them be great, let them be the things. But if they are doing wrong thing which is impacting and affecting the society and your own self, you have to step up and say no to that. And you cannot just say yes and be a subject to them again. You have a rational thinking. Your brains are All our brains have rational thinking. So if you do not use that rational thinking, you will definitely fall into a great, great, great pit. Now, this is what I have understood from this person's life. He has lost everything because he stopped thinking rationally. He allowed him to be a subject to the wrath, to the things that's in and around him. So. And again, he was asking, how are you? How do you think? And then Mata did cautiously mention that she was not supposed to mention her whereabouts. So she said that I have accepted life, what life has given me, and I'm making the best of it. This is all that she could say. And he was like, okay, do not tell me anything about it. If I knew something, I may utter some words in our community, and then Mahendra might try to get hold of you again. So they were like very much loving with each other. And she tried asking about Uddhav's family, and Uddhav's family was also I mean his family was also bearing that consequences of their depart. And eventually Uddhav's mother died, and then Uddhav's father went to live along with her younger son, with his younger son. So she was feeling very sorry for causing that family such grief. Mm, and so sorry for the lives that was disrupted in the way, in this way. But it is what it is, right? And Sujata, Malini can be a subject to Mahendra's wrath too already, and that's not logical too, and it's Mahendra's mistake totally. So, and again, the as the time passed on, they exchanged the warm greetings with each other. They exchanged warm hugs with each other, and then she served the food with to her father, and it was very tasteful that he never tasted that food. He didn't have even proper person to feed him during his old age. That's the kind of situation that he himself allowed to be in. Um, uh, her father. So yeah, and said, don't be angry with your mother. That has all passed. We must forgive one another's mistake, is what her father told. And then by this time, Malini also realized that there's no mistake of her mother, and then it was because of Mahendra's wrath that happened. That has happened. All these things. And then as soon as he came out, as soon as he came out, what she came out of that cave to leave, she saw this person who rode the chariot sitting there and meditating. And as he was meditating, she saw a subtle light embracing his form. There was a light around his aura, who was sitting and meditating. uh, and he was sitting there, and then he was not at all moving as a stone. He was sitting there as a stone. Then again, when she went near to that charioteer, she realized that he was not no ordinary charioteer. Unsure of whether to disturb him or not, I stood there wavering. Then suddenly, as if a tempest had swept over me, releasing my emotions, I burst into tears and slid down onto the ground beside him, wanting some words of comfort. So there's a release of these emotions. All those emotions are getting released, and then once those are released, uh, I mean, once those started surfacing, she broke into tears and then sat beside him. Immediately, he emerged from meditation and said gently, "Think what Mata has done for you to enable this reunion before your father dies. He will die in peace now, knowing that you are alive and well." I didn't know if he knew my history or not, but I felt compelled to relate it all. The rape of my mother, her abrupt departure, my engagement, my secret marriage and pregnancy, our attempted escape, Uddhav's awful death, my life story spilled out, breaking through the sobs. One man has disrupted so many lives. Why do such evil people exist? I asked, weeping. So everything she told, everything to him, and then said that, and then he told her that you can only think, you can also turn that around and think of all the good that has come to you, your son, your time with Mata, and the women you have met through your stay at the women's quarters. Think it of this way, Malini. If you wouldn't have done that way, if you didn't undergo that way, what would have happened is you wouldn't have a chance to meet with Mata. You wouldn't have a son like this. You wouldn't have a chance to meet with Mata directly and learn from the women in the women's quarters. Have many good things have happened to you, my friend, out of an evil act. Perhaps such men exist to make us stronger, to awaken our will, to make us more committed to live lives of dharma, learning to extend a helping hand to others. His compassionate words had a way of stilling emotions. Then he added, what life does not have great challenges. Without them, how would we ever grow in understanding? These are very, 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 very important things, my dear friends. It's because these last lines, I'm almost to the end of the chapter, these last lines are very, very, very highlighting that I literally fell for it, fell for those lines. We who live during these times are very blessed to have Krishna and Rukmini as our friends and guides. Never for a moment do I forget to be grateful for that. And then Sujata, he was emphasizing on why the evil exists around us. It is because to make us more strong, to make us commit to our will more stronger, to develop our will capacity, to uphold, to surface our capacity, to surface our potentiality, and think on the more ways of living dharma way. So that's the most important thing that life teaches us. You should think it that way. So you are so right. I am sorry for this moment of weakness. He smiled and replied, "It's not weakness. You are simply letting go of the past, and I'm happy to have been here to help you to release it." So that's what he told. And as they rode back, they didn't talk anything with each other. It was such a calming presence. It was such a beautiful experience that his vibration himself calmed down that Sujata, and her emotional upheaval had shifted into a tranquil sense of closure. What kind of vibration is he with? Without any words, he could shift that emotional upheaval to a tranquil sense of closure, which means he was able to generate that feeling of calming and uh, uh, reduce that turmoil in others person. And what kind of vibration is he vibrating with? And said I should be thank and Sujata was saying that I should be thankful for all that has been given rather than dwelling on what has been taken. This is very, very, very important for all of us. Think what best has happened to you, what rather than dwelling on what has been taken away from you. That will make you more stronger. Facing him once more, and again they have reached women's quarters, and then facing him once more, she again folded hands and said with all the feeling that she could muster, "I have no words and no way to truly thank you. You have lifted a great burden from my heart. Your very presence had helped me feel at ease. So no need to thank me, friend. Thank Mata, for it is all by her design." Looking directly at him for the first time in the moonlight, my eyes met his. I had seen this face before, or was I imagining it? For a moment I stood there, wavering, wondering where I could have met him, and suddenly it struck me. This man who had provided such service and wisdom was none other than the noble warrior Arjuna. This is very, 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 very important. Arjuna is the one who is vibrating with such a kind of love and energy. We all have to literally think about it, learn from this, learn this from Arjuna. Arjuna is not only a skillful warrior. We also have seen it before during Subhadra's marriage as well. Why is Sri Krishna very much interested in Arjuna? Is it because of skillfulness in war, is it because he's a skillful warrior? No, there are many more skillful warriors in that point of time. But why are they very much interested in him? It's because he is moon himself. He works on the hearts of the people, not by actions. That's why Mata is very much interested on him. And if a person's vibration can shift the other person who is in human suffering, who is in suffering, to a calm person with a calm way without the words, then he or she is the rightful person for you, where you can feel calm, support, and all the things. So that is what is called as the human suffering too. When there's a suffering around you, uh, you may not, you might, there are two kinds of things that, as I previously iterated, one kind is like easily being subject to that suffering. Other kind is like maybe get away from that suffering. But we all have to be in a place where we are still attached yet detached. But Arjuna is one person where he is attached to the situation but yet detached. His vibration itself is very calming and soothing, which shifted the mindset of the people and made that person Sujata's mind calm and get ready for the future. That's the shift that he had done with his vibration. So that is called an attachment versus detachment. It is not very very easy to be detached yet attached for most of the people, like us, obviously. You know, it is very very important on how you're vibrating with, on what energy you're vibrating with. And that energy should make the people in suffering to come out of their suffering and deal with the reality, make their calm, make their presence, make their mind calm. Okay, so that is the thing about this chapter, and it is none other than the Arjuna. And why is Arjuna involved in here? It's because Mata has trained Arjuna in such a way that he should be attached to every situations, and she should actually teach him about the human suffering. He should entirely know the suffering, but he shouldn't be attached to the situations yet stay detached. And he should be a responsible person, or a torch bearer to shift their suffering and make them feel more comfortable to design their life in a most possible way, to shift, to bring the people out of their suffering. uh, that's the training that Mata has given Arjuna. And with this, I am ending this first part, and we will look into the second part, which is about the Great War. The second part is titled as the Great War. You know what? You all know what Great War is. We will be learning lots and lots of facts about that Great War. And friends, about this first part, what did we learn? Please go back, if you're reading the book, or if you're listening to this stories, please go back and realize, or recollect what you have learned from this part one. It is very very important to retrospect our thinking or our experiences about this part, about these teachings. Mata is no an ordinary lady. She works on our minds and hearts rather than on our actions. It's not like you can just pretend to be someone or pretend to be something. It has to come from inside. That's the thing that Mata have learned. I have learned about, for me, for the with this first chapter over the past few weeks, I've been narrating. I've learned what a human suffering would be like. I've learned what an attachment versus detachment is like. Maybe at least I've learned something about how to be attached yet detached. Um, and I've learned about the vibrations of humans, and I've learned so many things during this part one, and all, how to retaliate, how to say no to what we have to say, how to develop a rational thinking in our mind, you know and what kind of a faith we have on Mata. That's the thing that I have learned. And so with Rukmini Radha's meeting, and then how we have to see our own trusted divine person. Like, for example, if I trust Mata, I would have to see her in every part of the outside world, part and particle inside the world. That's what Radha developed, right? And that's the feeling that Radha developed, and about so many things that Mata told us. But the most and important takeaway from this chapter one is how to concentrate on the present tense rather than dwelling on the past and future, and also how to stay attached yet detached, not burning yourself, and be a torch bearer for the people who are in suffering. That's the things that I have learned, and hopefully you all learn something from this part one. We will all meet again in part two, and we have 4 parts in this book. So we'll be meeting again for 3 other parts. And thank you.